a lawyer, albeit a very unsuccessful one, in this little town. We did not have very much money growing up. Like I said, when you're in a little hick town, the hick town lawyer doesn't make any money either. And so one of the interesting things about this little town, and that I remember very much growing up, is that it was an area of the world where somebody's word still stood for something. You know, I remember a lot of business was done on a handshake. When you needed a loan, you didn't go to Bank of America. You went to, you know, Bank of the Prairie that was actually on this street. There's a street right there on the picture. There was a Bank of the Prairie on that street, and you know the guy who owned that was Bob or whatever his name was, and you walked in and sat down with Bob and you asked Bob for a loan, and Bob gave you the loan not because you were credit worthy, but because Bob knew you, and he knew your parents, he knew your grandparents, and he knew your farm, and you know he you know he didn't need a whole bunch of paperwork on that to get things done. And that's something that has really carried forward with me. I take a great deal of pride in the fact that my word still means something and that I can do business on a handshake. Many of you are in this event because I went out to other people in our industry. Norman Hallett is a good friend of mine. I think he's a very honest and genuine person. And he and I have been friends for a while. And I asked him if he would, you know, share with you guys about my event, and of course he said yes. And I agreed to pay him, you know, a percentage of any people who sign up for my program at the end of this week, and that's done on a handshake. There's no contracts there, no guarantee. He doesn't have any guarantees that I'm going to do for him what I say I'm going to do. He just knows that I'm a man of my word, and that if I tell him I'll do it, I'll do it. And that was something I can directly tie back to this little tiny town in southwest Kansas. And I'm grateful every single day that I had the opportunity to grow up there, even though it was not a very not a great childhood in terms of you know, what I had access to at that time. Well, I grew up, and at the age of 19, the day after I graduated from high school, the day after, I left for the Marine Corps, and I joined the Corps. And I ended up in 29 Palms, California. Anybody know that? How many Cali guys we got in here? I know we got a lot of folks from Cali. You guys know where 29 Palms is? The stumps out near Joshua Tree? Right, out in SoCal. There you go. All right, perfect. Got a lot of you guys. 4th Duty Station. Yeah, anybody even stationed out there? Chow halls were awesome out there. But I joined the Marine Corps, and I was in the infantry initially, the basic infantry, and I spent about 3 or 4 months in the infantry, and I decided, yeah, that was really going to be a waste of my time. So I tried out, and I was accepted into a sniper platoon. And as you can see there, the pictures on the right are the pictures of the left are actually of the McCaxey Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center in 29 Palms, and the ones on the right are pictures of some snipers in ghillie suits. And that was what I did for the first big chunk of my military career. Was I was a sniper in 29 Palms, and I had a lot of chances to operate in a desert environment and do a lot of that stuff. After I got done with that, I went to Okinawa, Japan, on a float. And while I was there, I tried out for a Marine Force Recon team. For those of you who don't know what Force Reconnaissance is, it's a lot like the Navy SEALs or you know, Rangers or Special Forces. It's the Marine Corps' version of Special Operations. And I spent time out in there with 5th Force Recon in Okinawa, and spent the last 2.5 years of my military career working with them. I did my main mission was to be a sniper, as well as to do explosive breaching and hostage rescue. Did a lot of counterterrorism stuff and things like that. So that was what I did when I got into the military. And then I decided that I had come about as far as I could go, and it was an interesting time because I knew that if I re-enlisted in the military that I was going to do 20 years. It's like, look, if you re-enlist, you're going to be, by the time you're done, you're at 10 years or so, 8 years, and then you're halfway to retirement.